Coming to you live from the OpenStack Barcelona Summit 2016, OpenStack and Beyond podcast. I'm here chatting with folks from Walmart. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Andrew Mitri.
What do you do at Walmart?
They call me the chief dispenser of cloud Kool-Aid. I basically lead technical strategy and architecture for infrastructure at Walmart.
My name is Anton Thacker. I also work for Walmart and primarily focused on storage and cloud storage, and for us that means Ceph.
Awesome. So aside from storage, what are you guys doing in the context of OpenStack? And I know that you guys have contributed a lot of code. Tell me about Walmart's mission around your OpenStack contributions.
So right now, like a lot of it has been maturing what we're doing in OpenStack. So we have a couple of core developers on OpenStack Ansible, and really happy with the progress being made there in terms of not just deploying OpenStack, but helping us upgrade and maintain OpenStack. We're actually thinking of pivoting some of those resources also to start working on Ceph Ansible and maturing what we're doing with deploying and managing our Ceph infrastructure.
Okay, so you can continue on that. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, in addition to that, so I know it is an OpenStack conference, but we also contribute code to Ceph, and for this next release, we're actually going to be number 16 contributor for Ceph. So I think we have 4 or 5 developers that have contributed patches to Ceph in the next release. So that's really exciting.
And we're actually working on a new project called OpenStack Watcher, where we have a core developer as well that is working to better optimize and balance the use of our infrastructure. So now that we're using, we have this large OpenStack infrastructure, we want to make sure that we don't have hot zones. We want to be able to better oversubscribe what we do and manage those resources across that. So we're excited to be participating there as well.
Awesome. You're allowed to talk about Ceph, by the way. You won't find a bigger voucher for, open source project and open source community contributions, so that's allowed. I've heard, rumor has it, or maybe it's not rumor, maybe you've already spoken about it, but that you guys have created your own distro and kind of your own operation in-house in Walmart with OpenStack. Tell us a little bit about the interesting stuff you guys are doing with OpenStack, the cutting-edge stuff that you're doing, because you are on the bleeding edge of development around there.
So we actually, around OpenStack specifically, we consume the tagged upstream releases. We don't have a specific distro. We don't carry any code. We do have OneOps. So OneOps, yes. Which is our application lifecycle management platform. It was a company that we acquired a few years ago, and we've now open sourced that platform about a year ago. And that's actually how, our developers interact with the platform. And we use that for all application lifecycle management. We do a lot of our, that's how our app developers push out, whether it's their database as a service or Java packs and whatnot. We have a lot of open source packaged into that delivery mechanism through the tool.
Okay. And what are you guys doing around orchestration? I mean, Walmart has a huge operation. You guys have a huge number of VMs. Are you only OpenStack? I mean, do you have other infrastructure?
So we actually, that's an interesting question. So OneOps does a lot of that for us at the VM level, but our developers are pushing for even better developer experience. And so we actually have OneOps delivering Kubernetes, similar to how Magnum delivers Kubernetes, on top of OpenStack right now. So that is something that we've been, we actually have several production apps. It's still a relatively small effort, but growing really fast with a lot of interest for running Kubernetes on top of our OpenStack.
And I mean, you guys have been in the OpenStack community for a really long time. How do what is your feeling about how it's been developing, the direction it's taking? What is your kind of vision for where you want it to go?
I like how it's maturing. I think we still have to campaign more to get more operators involved in the development process and blueprinting and like realizing that they can have a say and that they should have a say and that they should put resources there. But I'm very excited that it's becoming more stable, that deployment is becoming easier, like the work done around OpenStack Ansible has helped us a lot, and that we're getting into projects like Watcher where we can say like, okay, now that we actually have things running, we can actually optimize them, right? So it's a positive trend.
I think it's still, I mean, we've talked about this for several years now inside the OpenStack community, but it really is back when we were working for another company before doing OpenStack, just introducing new features in a traditional world with closed source software, you would be at the mercy of your vendor, right? And whereas now we can actually take a feature, submit a blueprint, and if it's something that we're able to do, we can actually do it. And we just did it right now with OpenStack Ansible to support multi-cinder backend with multiple Ceph clusters. It's a work being done by one of my colleagues, Michael Gugino, and he's one of our core developers for OpenStack Ansible. And I mean, it's been accepted. It was a massive, like 700-line patch, but he got it done in like a couple of days, and all of a sudden we have a brand new feature that we needed, and we're using it now. So that's really exciting.
It's awesome to push code back and contribute it back when you do it specifically for yourselves. A lot of companies don't see the value in doing that, so good for you. Just a quick question about the ecosystem of open source tooling that isn't necessarily OpenStack specific. You guys are using Ansible, Ceph. How do you see that building out? What are the kinds of tools that get you excited? Where do you think that fits into the whole OpenStack and cloud space in general?
So I mean, as we mentioned, definitely using Kubernetes, definitely using Ansible and Ceph. I think the next kind of ecosystem that's building out is around that SDN play. And where are things going with? Is it just the Neutron reference implementation, the OVN stuff, or is it what's happening with Dragonflow and OpenContrail and whatnot? We also are using things, like Sensu for monitoring, right? That's a great option. And there's also like we're following some of the things that are happening with Prometheus and how are we going to start monitoring our container infrastructure? There's a lot of great tooling that's kind of Watcher is being built out and dependent upon. So. I think the relationship is pretty healthy. I think always the more coordination and collaboration. I was talking with one of the guys from Rancis that works on Kubernetes and also on OpenStack, and how like a lot of the OpenStack guys that were doing Kubernetes stuff didn't realize they were doing Kubernetes stuff as well. And being able to connect with each other is going to be a great positive that we're trying to coordinate better.
Besides OpenStack, Walmart is one of the biggest companies in the world, and we actually have a massive footprint of Puppet, and we have the people that work on the Puppet infrastructure. They speak at Puppet conferences and obviously contribute back code and stuff like that. So it's it's very cool to see that in action and in production.
Awesome, good work, awesome work, and keep up the contributions, and happy to get you guys involved in the OpenStack Israel community as well. Come on out to Tel Aviv; it's a great event. Thank you.